First of all, Professor Zhang, thank you very much for your time. Donald Trump's return to White House has brought the simmering US-China trade war to the fore. Washington imposed new tariffs on Chinese goods, and Beijing retaliated the same way. Current relations between US and China are strained right now, but what's the future of relations of two of the most powerful countries in the world?
In the first place, this so-called tariff war, in fact, not a big deal for China. We experienced Trump 1.0. He launched this trade war with tariff on China, but we made a rough calculation, about 90% increased tariff, in fact, were paid by the American consumers or companies. So the second one will be very similar. And as you said, China retaliated. It seems even Canada, Mexico wants to retaliate. So I think the United States will be in more trouble. So this whole scheme may backfire in the end. In the case of China, it will backfire for sure. Yeah.
But the relations between two countries are not as good as maybe third party would like to see them. Let's say from Serbia, your two most powerful countries in the world. Where do you see them these relations in the future?
In fact, if you look at the overall approach Donald Trump deals with this global affairs, it reminds me of the remark made by Henry Kissinger, or allegedly made by Henry Kissinger. He said, it's dangerous to be the enemy of the United States, but it's fatal to be ally of the United States. So his overall strategy is withdraw. He believed the United States is reaching out too much beyond its strengths. So he's withdrawing to Americas. So now he starts with his allies, Canada, Denmark, and Greenland. And China is in a much safer position. He said, if China and the United States can cooperate, we'll solve all the problems in the world, and I will visit China within the next 100 days. So we'll wait for him.
If China and the US don't fix their relations, what consequences could that have on the rest of the world?
For China, it's a huge, I think, bonus for the world, for most countries, because we believe in win-win. If there are disputes, difficulties, we can hold talks, negotiation, we find solutions that both sides, three sides, other parties will win. For the US, it depends on how you view it. I'll give an example. If you look at China's relations with Southeast Asia and US relations with Europe and with the Balkans, China respects Southeast Asia. Don't forget, Southeast Asia is called the Balkan of Asia. Different ethnic groups, different languages, different religions, different political systems, but they formed what's called ASEAN. China respects ASEAN's independence, neutrality, nuclear-free zone, and we develop vigorous trade relations with ASEAN based on win-win. As a result, China and ASEAN have achieved 4 decades of peace, development, and prosperity, and win-win. And this is now the world's largest free trade zone. But the United States, vis-a-vis Europe and Balkans, you see the problem with the NATO. The philosophy is keep America in, keep Russia out, keep Germany down, and divide and rule. Old Europe, New Europe, all kinds of problems. Chinese philosophy is unite and prosper. US philosophy, divide and rule. It's totally different. So the world eventually will move more in this right direction that China represents, I believe.
But what the US needs to do to become a good partner for China? Do you see anything that the United States should do right now?
Basically, the United States should reform itself, its behavior in international affairs. And we give some credit to Donald Trump. He said he will no longer fund the US aid, etc. In other words, he promotes color revolution, create problems, troubles in so many parts of the world. In the United States also itself suffered so much. And Donald Trump made the calculation, United States became poorer. He always say America is a failing nation, we waste so much money in wars and destructions, unnecessary ones, So I think hopefully the United States will withdraw. Indeed, it's what kind of unnecessary intervention in other countries and try to build America, build its own country better. If you look at the U.S. infrastructure, as Donald Trump said, for the best infrastructure, you have to go to China, not America. United States is more and more like a developing country. Actually, I share Donald Trump's view. United States should focus on itself, domestic economic development, and also reform its political system.
China is present in our region, especially in Serbia.
Yeah.
China is one of the main partners, economic partners of Serbia.
Yeah.
But Serbia is also a candidate country for the EU, and Brussels does not see favorably the Chinese influence in our country because they think this is their sphere of influence precisely. What kind of future do you see for relations between Serbia and China given the current geopolitical state of affairs?
I think China and Serbia are two independent countries, and their relationship and partnership and what we call comprehensive strategic partnership are formed within our own political, economic, social context. And Serbia want to join EU, some support, some against, but that's Serbia's domestic affairs. So I think these are two separate matters. I myself did my PhD in Geneva University. I lived in Europe for 20 years. And I know this deeply rooted bias against China, against Serbia, against Russia. It's not something superficial. It's deep-rooted. Only you have lived in Europe for so many years, you know this by instance. So they try to find another excuse, And but I think Europe itself will draw lessons. I went to Brussels many times, I talked to our think tanks. I said, for instance, BRI initiative, Belt and Road Initiative, will help Africa to build a new infrastructure, which provides many opportunities for Europe. You should also join us, because every year you have so many illegal immigration from Africa, because there you have problems with job creation. You need to create jobs there. Let's work together. Europe, no. All these geopolitical considerations, ideological consideration, where democracy, your autocracy is stupid, I think. I said, we don't wait for you. We are like a bullet train, we move ahead. Now 150 countries join BRI. Brand new infrastructure for many, many countries, based on new principle, discussing together, building together, benefiting together. Same principle apply for China cooperation with other European countries, with Serbia. So eventually Europe will regret. I counsel them already, don't support Arab Spring. It will become Arab winter, but they still support Arab Spring. What can we do? I said, don't encourage NATO expansion. It will cause many troubles, many problems. They still support NATO expansion. And then in the end, the Ukrainian crisis. So many, many things. I'll give you another example. Europe is known for Green Deal. Green Deal, so lofty, fanfare, energy transition. China has completed its Green Deal. Green energy now costs lower than traditional energy in China. 70% EV vehicles produced by China. That's for better climate protection. Climate change, we have way to deal with that because of China. How we do it? But Europe still said, oh, no. I said, we don't wait for you. We had good cooperation with Europe many years back on this Galileo system. You may know this EU GPS system. And in the end, they follow United States. They set a lot of restrictions on Chinese cooperation for this Galileo plan. We already made the investment, put money into it. And we said, sorry, we withdraw from this cooperation. We do our own. We have Beidou system. Now the Beidou satellite system is much better than GPS. Yeah, and this is also available for all BRI members. So really, I think EU eventually will realize they should really reduce this amount of arrogance. We don't buy this.
Professor Zheng, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you very much.